and gentlemen. My name is Lainey Brooks, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to today's concert. Today's theme is Flowing Like a River, featuring music that will flow straight into your hearts. Please welcome our talented artistic director and conductor, Barbara Rubenstein.
Good afternoon. In light of the terrible events occurring on the other side of the world, we join musical organizations everywhere in showing our collective compassion for the suffering people and senseless loss of life in Ukraine. I'm sure you have heard this uplifting music many times in the past months, but I'd like to share with you today the English translation of the lyrics of the Ukrainian national anthem. The glory and freedom of Ukraine has not yet perished. Luck will still smile on us, brother Ukrainians. Our enemies will die as the dew does in the sunshine. And we too, brothers, we will live happily in our land. We will not spare either our souls or bodies to get freedom, and we will prove that we brothers are of Cossack kin. We join the people of Ukraine in their quest for peace and freedom.
Please rise as we pay tribute to Ukraine, and then please join in singing our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. fitting tribute to an earlier time when our rivers and other waterways were the lifelines of our growing nation. Our piece begins with the rousing down the river, followed by an expansive and dramatic treatment of Shenandoah, or across the wide Missouri, as it is sometimes called. After a brief transition, we hear a quadrille-like version of Stephen Foster's The Glendy Burke. Then a second theme marked by an incessant syncopated ragtime rhythm is introduced by piccolo, flutes, and tambourine. Be sure to listen as the two final melodies intertwine through various sections of the band at the end, and how they are used in bringing American river songs to a rowdy, foot-stomping close. and distinctive work is based on a novel by James Alexander Tone, which accounts for the life of Mary Ingalls, who in 1755, she's 23, she's married, she's pregnant, she lives in this lovely village when the Shawnee Indians come in, and they kill everybody in the village in Virginia, except her. They take her into captivity. After many months, she finally escapes, and she tries to find her way home on a 1,000-mile journey using the Ohio River as her guide. Picture, if you will, an exhausted woman collapsing on the banks of the river as she questions her determination to find the needed strength and the courage to successfully complete the journey back to her home. Described as expressive and broad, listen to how the band expresses that exhaustion, that determination, that strength, and that hope. Listen also to the use of a unique percussion instrument called a rain stick. Composers use this instrument to depict falling or flowing water. Andy, can you please give us a sample? Now close your eyes and picture Mary Ingalls in her journey to follow the river. legend, Colinas Springs in Salinas County, California, was once known as the land of the healing waters due to the restorative powers of the water. This beautiful, descriptive work begins with a slow, lyrical melody reminiscent of flowing water, followed by music evolving into a faster theme, culminating in a riveting conclusion, suggesting the healing powers of the water flowing over us. To quote the composer, this piece is a musical story. It ebbs and it flows. Land of the healing waters. of the French song La Mer. The French version was written by Charles Trenet as an old ode to the sea. The version we all know was popularized by Bobby Darin in 1959 and was written by Jack Lawrence, who turned it into a love song. Let's see which version we hear today. Was composed by Mr. Clare Grunman, who was born in 1913 and led what appears to be a wonderfully interesting life. He started out teaching music in public school. Then he taught orchestra at Ohio State. Then he moved to New York, where he was a military musician in the U.S. Coast Guard. Then he went on to compose scores for radio, TV, film, and Broadway. As if that was not enough, among his many awards was an honorary membership in the Women Band Directors International. But, best of all, I love this part, best of all, in 1974 he co-authored the New York Times crossword puzzle book. Talk about a person with both sides of the brain working. So here is Fantasy on American Sailing Songs. A medley of lively sailing tunes included Hornet and Peacock, Lowlands, What Shall We Do with the Drunken Sailor, and Rio Grande. Enjoy. Band of Brothers. We open our second half with our Gold Coast Band trumpet section, performing the theme song from the award-winning 2001 TV miniseries Bandit Brothers. Executive producers Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg created this documentary to tell the story of the 2nd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division, known as Easy Company, from their jump training in Georgia through their involvement in major conflicts such as the invasion of Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, Hitler's retreat, and Japan's surrender. The unit flowed like a river from one conflict to the next, and at times crossed cultural rivers such as the Rhine, Europe's second longest river that creates the border between France and Germany. Their training was unlike any other. It pushed them to their limits while teaching them how to work together as a team. They banded together like brothers. We are pleased to present the haunting yet beautiful theme song from Band of Brothers in a special arrangement for trumpet choir. in 2017 by local resident Ronaldo Diaz with the intent to protect the Lake Worth Lagoon and its local watershed. Lake Worth Waterkeeper is a member of the Waterkeeper Alliance, which is a global organization that believes everyone has the right to clean water. Their mission is to make drinkable, fishable, swimmable water accessible everywhere. They do this through their environmental advocacy and policy reform efforts, through water quality sampling, and through their Lagoonies education program. Please watch this video that highlights some of their activities. Thank you. First of all, what was that little bug? I love that. Is that a fish? Well, we'll ask them when they come up. It is now my pleasure to call Barbara Rubenstein to the microphone to make a special presentation.
Thank you. With our theme being flowing like a river, I was trying to think of how we could bring that really to local meaning, but there's no Boynton Beach River. So the next best thing was to partner with the Lake Worth Waterkeeper, which is very, very local and a very worthwhile organization. So if I could ask Ronaldo Diaz to come forward, please, and if Melissa made it here, I don't know. You saw in the promo video. He's going to speak a little bit more about the organization, and then on behalf of the Boynton Beach Gold Coast Band, we are pleased to present with you a donation from the proceeds of your attendance at this concert, and we will do that as you speak.
Thank you so much. So the answer to your question is that is a copepod, and it is a little microscopic animal that is arguably one of the most common animals on the planet, and it's found throughout waterways all across the planet. Again, my name is Ronaldo Diaz. Thank you all for being here. I can't really think of any kind of better way to honor us and to have a fundraiser, because some of you might know the Waterkeeper movement actually began as the Riverkeeper movement in Hudson River, and it all started with music, with Pete Seeger on a little boat called the Clearwater. And ever since then, the movement has grown to over 350 Waterkeeper members across the world, nearly every continent but Antarctica. And each Waterkeeper is dedicated to their own particular watershed. So of course ours is the Lake Worth Lagoon and its watershed, which is essentially all of Palm Beach County, from Lake Okeechobee, that northern part of the Everglades, and the Lake Worth Lagoon. And like the music on the Clearwater, our adventure, our history as a movement and as an organization has flowed much like the waters that we protect. And there's really no better analogous way sometimes to tell a story of a flowing movement than with music, which naturally is a flowing of itself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And at this time, we are very pleased to present to you a check for $200.
Okay, let's welcome back our incredible trumpet section. us a round of applause for Mr. Jim Sheldrake, who was instrumental in organizing our Bandit Brothers. Okay, our next piece is being conducted by its composer, our very own David Lara, who created this work to showcase the many fine instrumental sections and individual soloists. David is a retired software engineer whose real passion is the arts, as shown by the fact, as a snowbird, he is active in amateur Gilbert and Sullivan productions in the Boston area, where he participates not only as conductor, but also as a performer and stage technician. He is editor and publisher of Sullivan Orchestra materials. Happily for us, he joined the Gold Coast Band in 2007 and has played multiple instruments, most recently the tuba. And today, as an accomplished composer, arranger, and conductor, we welcome David to the podium to conduct his American Waterways. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. David C. Lara.
Well, thank you, Lainey. I hope I can live up to that. This afternoon is not the world premiere of American Waterways. The Gold Coast Band first performed it back in 2014. I'm grateful to Barbara for programming the second performance and to the band for its patience and dedication in preparing this challenging piece. Every artistic creation needs some organizing principles, some criteria for deciding what should be part of the project and what shouldn't. So when I started planning this piece, I envisioned it as a medley of my favorite river songs. I started making a list of candidates, combinations of fast and slow, traditional and modern, famous and obscure, when an odd thing happened. Several songs nominated themselves, which were about bodies of water, but not, strictly speaking, river songs. No, I said, this medley is just river songs. But these other songs kept running through my head and otherwise insisting that they be included. And eventually I caved in and broadened the category. That's why the title is American Waterways instead of River Song Medley. What were these tunes which made me compromise my standards? Well, without giving away their names, I'll just say that I only know one song about a canal, but it's a wonderful song about a canal which was crucial to developing the part of the country many of us come from. There's a song about a bay, a kiddie song that I learned from my grandchildren, simple and energetic and a great closer for the piece. And there's a seafaring song from the New England whaling tradition, which makes a fine opening fanfare. 6 more songs, which actually are about rivers, including one located in Florida, complete the medley. Except for the stowaway. There's a 10th song which pops up now and then, woven in among the other songs, mostly hidden, but occasionally not hidden very well. So let's cast off the lines, keep a watch for that stowaway, and set out on our voyage on the American Waterways.
Rubenstein. Okay, now we have the Blue Danube March, not to be confused with the Blue Danube Waltz by Johann Strauss, but is in fact a march arrangement of the Blue Danube Waltz. This Blue Danube is by Hal Asher Vandercook, who was born in 1864. He was a composer, conductor, and cornetist. Best known for his marches and brass solos, Vandercook was performing in bands by age 14. He was composing at age 16. He conducted mostly theater and circus bands and founded the Vandercook College of Music. Here is Vandercook's, not Strauss's, Blue Danube March, not waltz. The march is in dupla meter, that's 2 beats per measure. The waltz would be in triple meter, which is 3 beats per measure. And by the way, I need to tell you that the Danube is not blue, but is in keeping with our theme and is the longest river in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Danube March. was composed by Henry Mancini with lyrics by Johnny Mercer. Received an Academy Award for Best Original Song for its first performances by Audrey Hepburn in 1961 in the movie, yes, Breakfast at Tiffany's. In 1962, it won Mancini a Grammy for Record of the Year and Mercer for Song of the Year. Although an instrumental version is played over the film's opening titles, the lyrics are only first heard as we find Holly Golightly, Audrey Hepburn, singing them accompanied by her guitar on the fire escape outside her apartment. However, there is an eruption of much behind the scenes when a Paramount Pictures executive says, we're going to delete this song, I don't like this song, forget it. And Hepburn's reaction is described by Mancini and others in varying degrees of her saying, over my dead body you will delete this song, or using some other colorful language. And a good thing too, because an album version without Hepburn's voice recorded by Mancini and his chorus was released as a single and became a huge hit. It wasn't until several months after Hepburn's death in 1993 that her version was released on an album titled Music from the Films of Audrey Hepburn. Now it is time to hear the Gold Coast Band's version of the lovely Moon River. by Kenneth Alford, who in reality is Lieutenant F.J. Ricketts, a British military bandmaster, but because at that time service personnel were not encouraged to have professional lives outside of their service, so Ricketts published under the pseudonym Kenneth Alford. But who in fact is Colonel Bogey? The story goes that it was on a local golf course that the composer encountered a certain fiery colonel who went by the nickname of Colonel Bogey. One of the colonel's peculiarities was that instead of yelling "for" to warn of an impending drive, he preferred to whistle a descending minor third. This little musical tag germinated in the mind of the composer. And so the opening of a memorable march was born. First published in 1914 and quickly becoming a bestseller for many years, in 1958, it was chosen as the theme for the splendid film, The Bridge Over the River Kwai.
today on behalf of the Boynton Gold Coast Band. We want to thank you for attending our concerts. We are musicians who are not paid, who are all volunteers who perform for you simply for the love of music. And we want you to know that performing for such a loyal and appreciative audience means so much and makes these concerts that much more special. We want to thank you. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome our Artistic Director and Conductor, Barbara Rubenstein, to say a few words.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you for coming out this afternoon, and hopefully you have enjoyed our musical tribute to our great rivers and waterways. And thank you also for helping us support the Lake Worth Waterkeeper organization. This concert is a little bit special for the band because we actually began rehearsing this music 2 years ago, before the COVID pandemic shut everything down, and created a dam of preventing our river from flowing. So here we are, 2 years later. We are not quite back to normal, but we have successfully and safely been able to return to music making this season and to be able to share our music with our audiences. So for that, we are extremely grateful. If you were here with us in February, you recall that this season we are celebrating our 45th season of existence, and we have been supported either completely or in part by the City of Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department. And we thank them, and I'd like to introduce and we have recognized our newly elected Mayor of Boynton Beach, Mr. Ty Pinserga. Thank you to him, Vice Mayor Woodrow Hay, and our previous mayor and longtime friend of the band, Stephen Grant, the city commissioners, the city manager, all for their continued support of music and the arts and keeping music and the arts alive in the community of Boynton Beach. Thank you so much. I want to also thank Pastor Keith and his staff here at First Baptist Boynton for this beautiful venue for our performances, and to Casey Lynn and her team up there for the amazing visual effects to enhance our performances. I hope you've enjoyed them, and thank you so much, ladies. Again, thank you to the Lake Worth Waterkeeper organization for all the work that you do, and I hope that everyone here continues to support their efforts as well. I can't go without thanking a very, very important member of our band who doesn't appear on stage but works tremendously behind the scenes, Mary Wilkie, who's in charge of all of our graphics, our programs, our designing, our tickets, our everything from A to Z. She does it, except play an instrument up here on the stage. But everything else she does. Thank you, Mary. Also, thank you to our forever band mom, Kathy DiPolito, who was selling tickets today, coordinating the ushers. Thank you for all you do for us, Kathy. I want to also thank my daughter, Valerie, who's here visiting from out of state, who was helping in the front of the house and taking care of you as you were arriving. And last but not least, our most entertaining and informative announcer, Lainey Brooks. Who has tremendous knowledge to you about the music that we are performing and makes your afternoon enjoyable. Finally, I want to thank all of you, as Lainey did earlier, you, the audience. We can't do this without you. This is a group effort, and you are an important part of the group. Thank you for your loyal and continued support of the band. Typically, this concert would be the last of our season, but since this year is a little bit different, we are actually extending our season this year, and we are going to be presenting another concert. It's listed in your program. It's a kind of thank you to the community of Boynton Beach concert. And it will be occurring on Friday evening, May 30th at 7 p.m. at the Centennial Park Amphitheater. It's a free concert. It will be outside, so bring your lawn chairs and your blankets, and you'll be able to enjoy popular and patriotic favorites to the theme of Music Makes America. And I have one more thing that I forgot to announce because it was just added at the last minute. Mr. Ty Pinserga has asked and invited all of you, if you are available, to attend the swearing in, is that the proper term? The swearing in of himself as well as the other new commissioners at the City Hall here in Boynton Beach this coming Tuesday at 5:30. Everyone is invited to attend that service. Okay? And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barbara. That was Deep River Rhapsody. Harold Walters was born in 1918, and like Vandercook, a composer we heard from earlier, he was a composer, conductor, and cornetist, but as Vandercook started playing at age 14, Walters was only 8 years old when he began to play. Walters wrote over 1,500 compositions and arrangements, plus textbooks. He conducted orchestras all over the world, and when asked what kind of orchestras these were, he always replied, the smallest orchestra was a small circus band with only 9 musicians, while the largest consisted of 12,800 musicians at the University of Michigan. I believe today our band is a little over 50 musicians. This piece opens with a beautiful lyrical choral setting of the spiritual deep river. It is a song of hope, expressing a desire for peace and freedom both in the present and in the afterlife, something our whole world can aspire to, especially now. This is followed by an increase in tempo as the clarinets present a different lively folk tune. Then listen carefully as the Deep River melody returns for its final statement. Again, we hope you enjoyed today's concert, and here is the Deep River Rhapsody.